The way you make love, sweet darling. That ain't the way you make love. You've been turning around uptown with some fancy clown, with some fancy clown. You've been turning around uptown with some fancy clown, with some fancy clown.
One of the unusual things about this group is that each guy in the group can lead. Any guy in the group can do it.
Straight out the Ville. It's the BackAlley Fellas Podcast.
They said we could never make it. They said
Still ain't got it bumping. In the back alley. Taking shots of whiskey and only go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you doing? We back.
What it do?
After a long vacation.
23rd.
Holiday, Kwanzaa, New Year's, all that different stuff. We back. Boys is back in town. Brother Six, Mike D, Big Pat, BackAlley Fella Podcast. You know who it is. 23rd Street stand up, Louisville stand up. South Carolina stand up, Nashville stand up, one time. As you can see, this cold weather, this Rona still going out. Thought this shit would be over with, man. But it's it's a heavyweight fight, man. And hopefully everybody is being well, is taking care of themselves and sinuses and all this stuff. So the energy is where it's at right now, but we'll fight through it and we'll make it happen. Hey, Brother Six, how you doing today, bro?
Doing good, man. I'm glad to be alive, man. Seeing you two brothers in your day above ground today. Give a shout out to Fat Blood and his family, man. All to Louisville, man. Y'all stay up, man. One time. How y'all doing, brother?
I'm good. Brother Pat, how you doing, beloved?
Good. Ain't feeling all that well today, but man, any day above ground is a great day, man. It's always a pleasure to be among two brothers.
Sure.
First, give a shout out to the Most High, and then I'd like to shout out, my brother Big Red, rest in peace, and his family. It's always a great day to be here, brother. Indeed. One time for your mind.
So, we like to tell everyone to subscribe, hit the like button, to make comments, and like we always say, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to join in to this beautiful mosaic that we call the BackAlley Fellas Podcast. And just continue to rock with us. Our first time, last time listeners, we appreciate us. We appreciate you. Just continue to grow with us. Continue to bring people along, and we'll build this platform together, and we'll rock it out. So with that, we'll just we'll end all of that because we want to get straight to it, get into the mix. You know what we typically do is we asked everyone around the horn what they sipping on. I'm thinking somebody might be sipping on chicken broth today, or a hot toddy or something like that. But what you sipping on today, Pat?
Hey, I just got some good old cranberry juice, man.
Oh, okay.
That's just straight cranberry juice.
Hey, sometimes you need to clean your system out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clean you all the way out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Brother Six, what you got? You looking for something? What you got? What you sipping
I was
on?
looking for something, man. I got some cranberry juice as well, bro.
Okay, look at both of y'all
That's
clean
what I'm
your
drinking
system
on.
out. That's
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
talking about. Well, I'm not drinking just some tea, sweet tea, lemon juice. That's it. And that's all we doing. So if you got something else, you see we on some regular today. We on regular time. But if you got something that's real special, let us know. Again, we'll like to post it out. We'll try it out when we're feeling a little bit better. You know, Pat, he always tries something. He mixes shit all the time. But with that being said, Pat, if you can go ahead and get us started off on our toast, and we can kick this on off, man.
Everybody that's watching, that's rocking with us, go ahead and lift up your cup, whatever you got, your glass, and here we go.
Well, hold on, Pat. We waiting on. I don't know what happened to Six.
Okay. Something like that.
Man. Golly. All right. So if you at home, or you watching us wherever you at, lift up your cups with us or your glasses. Bottles, glasses that are plastic. Alleyways backwards. Perfection takes practice. Friendship turn kinship. 2/3 of the street dynasty.
Brotherhood from the neighborhood. This podcast is going to be a classic. Divine state of mind. I'll move the subline on the rocks. Brother, give me something strong.
I'll give you a mixed slice of lime. Put your drink up. Now let's link up. It's number love in this atmosphere. Peace, salutations, brothers and sisters. The fellas, we in here. Boy, we just going through the motions today, boy.
Nah, I ain't. I'm feeling it, man. Hey, you know, I can only get as hype as my body will let me.
I'm with you.
We cooked today. We went out with P&J's turkey.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I thought I saw a little thing like I saw on Instagram. I saw some wings or something like that. They look delicious.
Instagram popping.
So we're gonna start going. We gotta start going to Instagram. You know, a young lady came by and she was like, y'all need to get an Instagram. We was like, we got one. She was like, yeah, looking at it. She ain't posted since 2020. So we know the younger folk post on Instagram, so we're gonna start posting on there more. But after we got back, I laid down for a little bit and just a little bit under the weather, man. My sinuses and stuff is
I get it.
Stopped up, but I got plenty of energy though. So you know, go ahead and start one of them old topics. I got plenty of fight in me. So
okay. So one of the things.
So what you heard anything out of the back alley, Pat?
But I think Mike was going to say something else first.
Okay.
No. I was just about to talk about what I heard in the back alley. Yeah.
Well, go ahead and tell us what you heard.
Okay.
Yeah, what I heard was somebody was asking the question about, do parents try to manipulate their children's path? And then from that, you know, the conversation went towards, is that a good, bad thing? And so I, wanted to bring that to you brothers, and to the viewing audience to really talk about that a little bit. Do we try to, as parents, manipulate our children's path, and what's the pros and cons to that? And so that's
I think that's an interesting conversation, but I think it first depends on what you consider manipulation. You know, because
that's where I would start.
Yeah. Because so the dictionary defines manipulation is handle or control, alter, edit, examine or treat by feeling or moving. And then the last one, it says to control or influence. And I think that's the one we're kind of gearing towards, is to control or influence.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, in my opinion, you brothers, you know, jump in, but you know, in my
Yes,
opinion,
sir.
the dictionary's definition doesn't necessarily fit the narrative, let me say. So, in my opinion, I think that because we're not influencing or having a bigger influence in our children's lives is why some of the Black community has went astray a little bit. You know, I the influence and control can be a good thing if it's a positive influence. Right. Let's keep it 100. Not all of us was perfect, so if we pass it on bad influence, then that might not be a good thing.
No, facts. Six, you got anything? You know what I'm saying?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Well, you know, I was going to. So I like that point that you went to, and maybe on another round or another pass by can go a little personal, because we typically do. But so I don't disagree with what you just said, Pat, from the perspective of, you know, I can see both ways, man. I really can see both ways.
What's the other way?
Well, allowing, I can see it, and I won't say without no influence from parents, but the thought process that we all are here with our own divine purpose, and that you allow your children to find their purpose and their destiny, which may be different from what you think they should be and do. And you know, and so sometimes they don't have to be mutually exclusive from one another, but you know, they can be from time to time. And that's where we get into that thing of, as a parent, you see behind corners, you know, you see behind buildings, you walk those walks. And so you're trying to control, you're trying to influence certain things so that they wouldn't make certain mistakes, or they can have a quote unquote easier life. But that may not be the purpose, the direction that they are here to go. And
you know, that depends on what is easy, you know.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because you know, our difficult is different than their difficult. You know, easy is different from their easy.
Very different.
Facts.
And when you look at the definition, if you go and finish the definition, which I didn't do, it says to control or influence cleverly, unfairly, or unscrupulously.
Okay.
Exploit, control, which means that influence can be a good thing, but if you're trying to do it unfairly, you know, and
that's considered manipulation.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes, again, I still go back, I revert back to the dictionary. That's just the meaning of a word, and sometimes we get past the meaning of words and get past the meaning of the words, because you know, like I love all my kids and they're gonna do what they want to do. So, but sometimes we gotta try to put our influence, you know, on
Absolutely.
them to see a better life.
Yeah.
So if you want to call that manipulation, then I'll take that.
Right.
See my kids prosper and have a great life.
Right. So the angle that I went when this was coming up and the conversation came about was, so you can understand a little bit about this, Six, was, you know, from the influence of, you know, you want your kids, you want to see them do well.
Yeah.
But the way that you and the route that you want them to go may not always be the route that they want to go. And because they are here to have their own say in life, you could find yourself bumping heads. And again, I could touch on a little later on personal things or whatever, because we just here to share we're on the porch and hopefully somebody can relate, is that sometimes you as parents,
Right.
your children are here, they're here to teach us. Like I've learned that my kids are teaching me more about uh my divine
Life.
providence. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And being able to listen and to have grace and mercy, because they have grace and mercy on me when I may be judgmental on moves that they make or might not be making, because that ain't their thing. And I have to harken back to um when I was a young person, and maybe things that my mother, grandparents, whatever, wanted me to do. But I had my own thoughts and I had my own mind on how I wanted to do it. And I walked that walk. Now, some things I wish, maybe I would have taken, and some things I did take, but there was experiences that I need to experience to get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and so, just having
Yeah.
that dichotomy of two different um
hold
things
on
going on.
before you go forward.
Yeah.
Our new listeners, new viewers, uh, every week we get new words. So we teachers. Hey, it's about we gonna learn you yet. So can you rewind that a little bit, Mike? Give us that word again.
The dichotomy.
Okay, dichotomy. So you need to look that up. This is actually what I'm gonna do. Instead of me looking it up, I want one of our listeners to go ahead and post the definition to that on our YouTube. And I know I'm making light of it, but the truth of the matter is we all need to expand our vocabulary, because the better that we can
Right. Very
articulate
much so.
ourselves, the better people understand us. So I'm
Right.
making light of it,
Right.
but I'm not making light of it, because we really need to extend
It's real.
our vocabulary. Now,
It's real.
I was going to say the one area that I think we get a little touchy with is especially the three of us is college.
Mhm.
Right.
That's the elephant in the room. We are staunch supporters of college. Not only am I a staunch supporter of college, but I've seen the benefits of having that piece of paper on the wall.
Right.
But
Mhm.
I digress.
Yeah.
The more I have to step back, I have to look at it in a different mind frame too. Because something Mike said a minute ago is that, we sometimes want our kids, we see around that corner, but can we really? When Steve Jobs he didn't even finish a whole 1 year of school.
Facts.
When he passed away, he was worth $10.2 billion
Mhm.
and didn't have a college degree.
I like this saying,
Right.
because I am a proponent of higher education, going to college and things of that nature. But I love this saying. And Six, we haven't really heard from you, so you know how we double dutch. You jump in.
Right. Yeah.
I love this saying. Don't let school get in the way of your education.
Wow. Yeah, I like that.
You see what I'm saying? I love that saying. Um,
Yeah.
But with that, Six,
To add on
please.
to what,
Yeah.
to add on to what both of you brothers were saying, I was just listening to both of you all, and I don't know if it was so much manipulation for me that I look at my children these days. I do see where some of the things I did influenced them to do some things
Speak
that
up.
they're doing or have done. You can't hear me?
Not very good. All right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that a little better? Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, I can
I
hear
see
you.
some of the influences that I have. Okay. Some of the things that I've done in life to watch them now, I see some of the influences that I had on them. Sometimes it's very true listening to both of you on where you would hope your kids or your children, excuse me, you'd want them to be in one place. But life has a way of, taking its own course, and everybody has their own path. So I sit back and I look, you do the best that you can by discipline, telling the truth, all the important things in life that'll get you through to the next day. But then you look at some of the decisions they're making, like, I wouldn't have did it that way. I'd have did it this way. And how you tell that story sometimes could be manipulation, but it's just trying to get your point across from those experiences you talked about, Mike. And then, the other ones that Pat, that you're talking about, you kind of have to intertwine those and just kind of find your place. And, a bunch of prayer man, they prayed up and just hope that they make that decision, because you can only do so much. And then they're out the door, and then you sit back and you just pray that, that they just take the right path when that time comes,
I'm real guilty of it, especially in the fact of, like, let's say leadership and management. So every job that I've been in a rather quick amount of time, a short amount of time, I've been in some kind of leadership or managerial position. So I'm a little biased to that. So I have to remind myself sometimes that everybody don't want to be a manager, So, like, I know when you get into the supervisory roles, they tend to pay a little more than the regular employees. But then I got to be mindful that even though it pays more, some people don't. There's more that comes with that money.
Right.
Some people don't want that. More responsibility, more headache, more dealing with individuals and what they do and not do.
Paperwork,
some people don't want that. But I'm guilty of always trying to push someone into management, especially my kids,
Well, and the thing that I noticed when we talked about, with college and things, and one of the things that I recognize, and that, within my own household, what I'm saying? So I have 3 kids, my twins from my previous marriage, and then my daughter that's from my wife, but it's my stepdaughter. But we typically we don't use those terms. You know what I'm saying? But that's my daughter as well. But 3 kids, and so and each of them are different in their own way. But it's some things that I noticed about, and even being a part of a great organization like Jack and Jill of America, it's African American, 80 years now old, very great organization. I shout them out. But what I noticed a lot about some of the people and some of the families that I interact with and are friends with is that in households where at least one or both of the parents have went to college at a very early age, there's a standard that is established, and when they're involved in certain organizations at an early age, it's almost a prerequisite. It's very rare that you see some, and there's a lot of them that don't, I'm sure, but what you typically see is that you see the kids are typically going to go to that path, to go to university, because that's something that they see. And what I notice even within mine is that at a fraction of, while I was been in my kids' life their whole life, they were with their mom for a period of time, and then I had custody and got them high school years and things of that nature. But in doing so, and me having my degrees or whatever, and I went the non-traditional route. Was in the military, Pat, got my degrees while in the military, doing all that stuff. Bachelor's, 2 masters, all of that. It is what it is. That's papers on the wall. I'm proud of them, but that don't define me as well. But at the same time, you recognize that when sometimes and you see the opposite. So it's not all the same, because you can see some people that don't have that but have that hustle, and they want to go get it because they can see the benefits of having those things. But I just noticed that there's certain factors that if you just start to examine certain things, when you place them in certain areas, it begins to show up, and more times than not. that these kids are more unlikely going to do this. But what I found, even with, with my kids and even the twins being different, is that, there were things that I was pushing for a number of different reasons. And my hope is that one day they do turn around, because, they can go to school pretty much for free based on me. But that ain't the road that they want to travel right now.
Yeah.
And so I have to accept that, because I know with my son, he's a very artistic cat. He's into movies. He wants to do film, like black sci-fi and black horror, and and he's into these different things. And so he's trying to figure out what can he do to earn a living, make money to a certain extent, but doesn't take a lot of this time away from him. So the physical part, because he's still young, he can still work, and he has a great work ethic when it comes to working, is what can he do that's just, okay, I'm doing this, moving, whatever I can do to make money, but I have a lot of time to think about my next thoughts. And when I'm done with this job, I can go and do the thing that I love to do. You see what I'm saying? When you could be in something where it occupies your mind and everything else, you're no longer able to focus in on the thing that you love to do. And real quick, and I get this to you. I'm always torn between a concept that I heard from Dr. Frances Cress Weston when our ancestors had passed away, peace and blessings to her. She talked about, she had this theory of Black people being married, the man being married around 35, the woman being somewhere between 30, 32 years old. They have maybe 2 to 3 kids, no more than 3 children. Their children should be 2 to 3 years apart to allow the children to have some lap time. Everyone should have an active ID card. And then from a nation building perspective, you guide your children into the areas of where we need. We need people, aeronautical engineers. We need people, to learn how to captains a ship and industry and nurses, all of these different things. Then you have that school of thought where you say, we all understand those things about people working jobs that they don't enjoy. They got degrees, they're working in something, but they don't enjoy it. And if you're lucky enough to be doing something that you love, you know how people say, man, I do this for free. And if you're lucky enough to be in something where you go to work and you just happy, and whether you make a bunch of money or not, you're good. Where do we draw that line? Because I might think of one way, but if that's your life and you're happy, you're full of joy doing that.
But yeah, playing the devil's advocate though, and having about 10 years in the employment industry, the sad reality of it is, and I pray that this never happens, is that, and sometimes though, you just can't get through that door without that piece of paper. So even with, I know you brought up your son, even with your son, he may, it takes a degree of being at the right place at the right time. It takes some luck. It takes God, some prayer. But sometimes you can't, even if you're great at something, you can't get past that door if you don't have, I'm gonna give you a good example. A lot of, especially with our greatest achievement, or let me say one of our greatest achievements, our worst enemy. Our technological advancements are so great and they're so advanced that they've actually hurt us. So what happens is, in the employment realm, a lot of people are not looking at resumes, it's computers. So they go in and they set these parameters for it. So you may say you must have a bachelor's degree. I don't care, you could be the best in the field. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, that computer's gonna weed you out.
And I'm with you, but the flip side of that And here's something that, you know, my father-in-law, y'all both know him. He's been on a couple of times. He said this before, and I mentioned this before. The hubris in us is that we think that we can define and know what the future lays, you know. And so you spoke about Steve Jobs, or who was it? I don't know if Bill Gates didn't finish. Don't think Mark Zuckerberg finished. So the point is that they went, you know what I'm saying? But the point being is that if you're looking to go the traditional route, then you're right.
Yeah.
But where I think that we have fallen behind in many ways, and this is our generation, and I think our young people are a little different, is that, and again, it's the dichotomy of clashing things that's coming up, is that there are things that are happening, and there are positions that will be made that we have no idea. There is no name for it right now.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no name for whatever that's going to be. I give you an example, and I don't want to say a whole lot, but I say it because if it happens, it happens. What type of law? So I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie The Martian. Y'all remember The Martian, the movie with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
And he gets
Right.
he gets stranded on Mars, and he has to. It's a few years.
Yeah.
He has to learn how to stay alive until they come and do a rescue. And so, in that, he was driving, and as he was videotaping himself, he was talking about maritime law, which is a earthly sea-bearing law, maritime law. You know, when he was talking about that, you on Mars, bro. So what happens when we have these movies like Expanse and everything? You already talking about people already looking to colonize the moon very soon. And they're looking at other things. So these things are going to happen. What law governs that? What law is going to govern the exploration and the mining of minerals and resources on another planet, and the trade that exists from that particular planet or something in the solar system to the Earth? We ain't discovered them laws yet. We can try to fit them, but we know that based on the laws that we have on the books right now and the laws for the internet and technology, that they ain't even caught up with that. You know what I'm saying? They always talk about, we ain't even caught up. The law ain't even caught up with stuff that's happening on the internet. So what are those laws? Who's governed when you're born, when your parents are from here, but you might be born on the moon? What are you? Are you a US resident? Are you a resident of this? Are you this, and this? I say that to say, we don't know. It's still being discovered. And most of those people are going to be discovered are people that think outside the box. And so you're absolutely right when you go into the fields and the computers but things are changing and happening in such a way that, you know, it took me a long time, Pat, when I was in the military. The cats used to always, my squad leaders and everybody, platoon sergeant, Davidson, go to school. Gotta go to school. You gotta go, not only military school, go to school. Yeah, sir, I got you. Yeah, sir, got you. At the club doing this. It wasn't until I became an adult and it really stuck that I was like, oh, I need to be going to school. You know, so it took me a minute. Now I have it, I benefit, and I went a traditional route. But I did a non-traditional way of going a traditional route. And my hope is, again, because there's more to it than just the book learning in school and you know, the socialization and the meeting and the networking. But again, who knows? People step outside, they have ideas, they create things, they get with people, they create the new thing that we will be using, and they ain't spent the lick of time in school. And so, as some entertainers or whatever say, that the person that works for me has a degree. I don't. You know what I'm saying? And but this is not to dis, because we want our people to be educated. We want them to go to school if can. We don't want them to go into debt. And that's another conversation. When we start talking about education, we'll build on that. Yeah. But just from the stroke of us as parents manipulating our children, in a right or wrong way, I've really learned I've had to humble myself and listen to my children, man. I had to listen like, yo, okay, I heard you, but I was not listening. Right. I was not listening to you. Now, not only am I listening to you, I feel you. I feel what you're saying. I get it. So let's now work on that plan that's going to give you some success and lay some things out. And I can have hope that these things will turn around, but let's lay out a plan that's going to help you get to your dream. Because you got to have some kind of goals, regardless of what you're going to have to do something, because adulting is coming, is here. So let's figure this adulting thing out in a plan so that you can be where you want to be. But I just want to, but again, Six-Pack, that's just my thoughts on it. What say you?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. We're gonna have to sit back and we're gonna have to let them live it, and just give them as many influences as we can.
Yeah, real quick, shout out to Jeremiah. We had the pleasure of going down to see Brother Six's son playing
college
basketball game down in what part of Tennessee? It was not too far out from Nashville. And that was really dope. To see him get out there, get a little action, looking good, and experiencing that college life. And the beautiful thing is being outside of it, being away from Louisville. Love my city, but just away, experiencing something different. Super proud of him. It's dope. It was dope to see. Really dope to see.
That's what we're talking about too, things of that nature, where you just hope and pray, man, that they just make a different choice than you did, man. Whether that's influence or manipulation. It's like there's some things that I did that got me here that I wish I didn't do, but I'm here, and I'm proud of some things that I did do, and I'm here. So it's like, to see that, whatever I did, whatever I had, whatever influence or manipulation I had on something like that, with him going to school and I didn't, that's a goal as a parent that you look for, you live to see that. So, your children become very important to you, man, with patience and all of that stuff, and humbling yourself and learning and listening and all those things, man. Yeah, you do a double fold, especially when you're a grandparent, so it weighs heavy, man, on some of the decisions you make now than you did when you were younger.
Now, facts. Right.
I
feel like, we just, it's interesting because, the route that we took was the route that we were supposed to take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was absolutely the route that we were supposed to take. It was divine order, the way that we were supposed to do what we had to do. Because we had to soldier through some things. Because there were, a lesser person, a lesser man wouldn't be where you at. They wouldn't be here. So we had to soldier through some things in order for the ones that come behind us to get it. And again, experience and observation, I can observe a lot of things. And there's some things that I'm gonna have to experience. You know what I mean? Right. Some things I'm gonna pick up. I know crack is bad. I ain't gotta take it. to know that crack is bad. It's some things, that I need to experience no matter what you tell me, because I need to experience it. So,
Life.
we where we at, Pat, you got anything?
I think this is a very interesting topic. And, truth, as I'm sitting here and we're discussing it, I think this would be a topic that we should revisit and actually have, come give me a hug. My grandkids are here. And actually, maybe some of our kids are ready to have.
What's going on? Grandkid number
man?
one.
Yeah, here's my other grandbaby.
What's up, pretty lady?
Okay, let me finish. So I think it might be a topic that we may need to revisit. Maybe have one or two of our young adults on here.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately there's no right, there's no wrong. There's, I think I think we should try to influence and drive and manipulate per se, as long as we have good intentions behind it. And then be able to step back and let them live their lives and let them take their path. And hopefully something we said, because the truth of the matter is what I said all of that to say that in the end, they've probably hurt us. We don't realize it, but they've probably hurt us. And some of the things we do and say will probably resonates with them. And even though they're taking a different path than we took, the non-traditional path, we've still been a big influence in their life.
Yeah.
They're still heading for the end goal. It might be the route that we took, the road that we took, but I think that we still played a good positive light. Because to tell you the truth, just knowing you brothers here, I know one thing for sure. What is it? One thing for certain, two things for sure, that I know you all been in your kids' life. So that in itself had to have shaped them some kind of way.
Right.
For the good. And so I think that I think that it'll all work out in the end. And maybe we can have this conversation, actually have one or two of our children, our young adults on here.
Yeah, no, we could definitely do that. I think it would be good to hear from some young people and get some perspectives from them, because it's always good to hear from them. I think, again, I always learn something when I listen to them, because we're coming from a thing. And one of the things that I learned about us as adults is that sometimes we don't get out of the way.
Yeah.
We don't get out of the way and allow them to do their thing. You know what I mean? Really do their thing and see how some things work out. Because it's still our world. We know we're still in it. But they're shaping theirs as well. And especially when, and I'm not talking about those that are with no guidance. We're talking about, the kids, our kids that have experienced ourselves, that have our imprint on them, and are able to take that and they take it in. And that they take it in because sometimes they say some things that you like, I didn't think you was listening. Or they come back and say, I heard you, or whatever. Or Dad, I got this. I know, so it's that fine line of pushing. It's that fine line of kicking. And it's that fine line of just allowing them to do what they do. So with that, I don't know if there's more that we need to add to this conversation. If so, then please go ahead. If not, then I'll send it around the horn for everybody to close out. It's been a a fairly quick one, and you know, it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah, I think I think ultimately, um, ultimately, the type of manipulation, since that was the question, have we manipulated, you know, our children? Our type of manipulation, and I can only speak from my lane and looking from the outside at you two brothers that I'm really close to. I truly believe that we've done a good thing, and we've been some positive role models, and either said or unsaid, we've had a positive impact in our children's lives. Now, they may not make the other decisions we want them to, but I think that ultimately they're gonna get to where their dreams are in just their way. And I think that we've all done a good job of not pressuring too much. Put a little pressure on them. Hey, you know, you need to get this a little bit now, but then
lean on them a little bit.
So I salute you two fellas.
Salute you back. Real quick before you go, Six, Pat, if you can touch on these two things, I'm gonna pass it to you. Can you talk to us a little bit about where you at, the stage of your book, and then the stage and where you at with the your food truck, with you and Six's food truck? If you could talk a little bit about that, so that people can know in any order that you like.
Okay. All right, personally with the book, I have completed it. I am going through the editing stages and trying to decide. So for anyone out there that's an author or up and coming author, you know, there's, again, our technology has grown so much. So now you got a decision to make. It used to be years ago, you wrote a book, you basically had to go through publishers. So I do have a company that is wanting to publish my book. However, I'm looking at me and Brother Six was talking about it today. There's an alternative route of doing it that's a little cheaper, takes a little longer, doesn't reach as many people. So I'm looking at that. Hopefully it should be out. I'm looking at April, May timeframe, maybe June.
Okay.
As far as the food truck, again, this is a dream. Now, this is for anybody that's listening, especially young people, because we took two ultimately different dreams and combined them in one to get onto a road that we may end up splitting to get to two separate dreams again. Does that make sense?
I'm tracking. But talk to me about that, you know, and yeah, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it was my dream, because I love to cook, and it wasn't necessarily Brother Six's dream to cook. He had a dream of owning like a club, a bar, a sports bar, whatever. So it presented itself in a manner that we could do a food truck. So I talked to him about it. It was a dream. We talked. And see, a lot of people don't understand. They think you can just snap a finger and be in the business, but you know, it takes years. So we talked about it for at least 2, maybe 3 years. Then we worked on it for 1.5 years, and now we're here. So we're about 3.5, 4 years in, but only been in business basically a little less than a year. And ultimately, right now we're on the same path because we have this food truck. It's called P&J's Turkey and More.
Located where?
It's located in Columbia, South Carolina. We do a healthier take on barbecue. We do primarily turkey products. However, we do have, that's why the and more is on there. We do have some chicken. We do have some pork sausages, but mostly turkey products. We have so ultimately, we're on this same path now. And then the end result, hopefully, will be Junior's restaurant, and maybe then I have the kitchen part of it, or however we're going to do it. So we've taken 2 dreams to come into one.
Okay, got you. Okay, I appreciate that. We just wanted to give you the opportunity on the airwaves to talk a little bit about that. And
Yeah, I appreciate it.
that. Oh, absolutely. Brother
Yeah,
Six,
appreciate it. That was
what you got, brother?
that was well put there, Thomas. I mean, Big Pat. We're gonna call him Mike D. Yeah, now like I said, man, that is exactly how it is, man. With the food truck, wanted to speak on that, just briefly. That it's a blessing to be where we at. It takes a lot of hard work behind the scenes. Nobody really knows about what we go through to, just to make it to the next hour, man. With decisions that have to be made because we deal with a lot of people in the in the service business where it's poor right now. You got to give good service, man. We just don't have it no more, and we reach a lot of people, man. So, it's detrimental, to what we do and how we do it. But it's a blessing, man. It's good to be where we're at. Now about the manipulation, to all my children and nephews and nieces out there, when you become a grandparent and more of, you start to realize that everybody has their life to live. And I just pray that whatever I've done to influence them to do better and to be where they're at right now, I'm very proud of them, So you got to look at the things that you've done and you achieved, and you got to be proud of it yourself, man, and live that example that you would want them to be. It ain't too late to change, So, right. Talk to your children, man. Talk to your nieces and nephews and your kin, just to see how they are and see if those influences done rubbed off on them a little bit. It's okay to check them out. So I want to give my hats off to you two brothers, man, and thank you for allowing me to speak. But if you have children, nieces and nephews, man, reach out, talk to them, man, and see where they're at, because it's getting it's very bad right now. So whatever they're doing is positive, man. You got to look and say, I'd had something to do with that, and feel proud of yourself. You brothers be proud of yourself, man, because you have great children, man. All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So this is what we're gonna do though, starting into this in 2022 for you two, but especially you Six. You don't never have to say thank you for allowing me to speak. Man, this is your platform as well. This is all three of our joint. So I get where you're coming from, but this is your platform. So other people, when they come on, they can thank us for allowing them to speak. But this is your platform, so you speak whenever you want to. So I just wanted just for you to know that, what I'm saying. So that's one of the things that we're not gonna do in 2022. This is yours, and anytime you need to use it for whatever to move, that's on you. So I co-sign what each of you say. We always again shout out to the Creator, the Most High, however you say it, fate, the universe, whatever name, attribute that you give, that divine force, whether you give it to it or not, we shout that out in our existence, because we know that we're part of that all, and the all is a part of us. Salute to our families and loved ones that that allow us to take a little bit of time to do what we do. Love, blessings, and peace to our 23rd Street crew, but more specifically our brother Reg, who's no longer with us in the physical form, but is always with us in the spirit form. And we shout out his family, more specifically his kids, his wife, and his siblings. You know what I mean? So that's always first and foremost. Interesting conversation. I do like the idea, Pat, that we get some young people on and hear from them. As I think about it would have been a great idea to do that. But sometimes in a mix, you do that. So a part two for that. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out one of our great ancestors, and blessings to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A great man, and I would just ask people to look at that brother and go beyond the commercial, and you will find a very interesting, a very dynamic brother But not only that, not only him, but when I think about him, I think about all those that stood with him. And I'm reminded of it was a skit that was on one of KRS-One's, I think it was the sex, violence and something. It was that album. And it was a skit we said, if you took George Washington and you put him by himself in Valley Forge, he'd be killed. If you put Dr. King in Selma by himself, he'd be killed. But if you put them with thousands of people, same like mine. And so what I'm trying to say is that Dr. King is a symbol of all those that empowered him to be in front. But rest assured, he had a whole bunch of people behind him and to the side of him riding with him. And he was great because there was greatness right alongside of him. And there's a lot of people that we don't know, a lot of names that we don't know, and we will never know. But we get to celebrate Dr. King, and in doing so, it's celebrating us. It's celebrating our uncles, our aunts who were there, that were giving rides to those people that got to that. So I think when we start to look at Dr. King in the celebration, when we do it in January, we should start to really focus in on those people that we don't know that allowed us to do that. I'm on my stool, I'm off of it now, but I just wanted to shout out that ancestor, but shout out all of those that are no longer with us and those that are with us that were there on that fight, in that walk, so that I could be doing. Because rest assured, that brother was killed. And so a lot of people were killed so we could be where we at right now. It does not go unnoticed.
Right.
It does not go unnoticed. Yeah.
One more thing too I wanted to throw in there.
Sure.
We had talked about it in 2021 about possibly starting 2 new segments. I want to start that in 2022. We haven't got talked about doing and we'll come up with some kind of little title breaks for them. We're gonna do. We talked about bringing a book, involving a book. We started reading. Right. We taking a few minutes to discuss that. And we also talked about. I think we talked about music, didn't we?
Yeah, I think music, or I think we also tossed around people submitting, young people recognizing whomever. Doing a recognition corner, so we can shout them out, recognize what they're doing.
Putting some of these segments in. I know we talked about it, and then we didn't get it. So I want to put that on our agenda that we start.
Absolutely. 2022, the Back Alley Fella podcast is going forward. Yeah, we're gonna jump to a higher level. I'm gonna leave with this quote that I got from a sister by the name of Dr. Ma'at, PhD, out of Maryland. But I love this quote, and I took it when I saw one of the videos. It says, "Before you are certified, you must be verified by someone who is qualified." I'll say that one more time. Before you are certified, you must be verified by someone who is qualified. And it's simply breaking it down. Before you get up and you are certified to speak in front of people, our young people, our community, whatever, you gotta be verified by the people that are qualified to do that. We gotta check your resume, and it can only be checked by us knowing your lineage. Who do you fall behind? We talked about that before, and maybe we revisit that construct again. But with that being said, it's always a pleasure to rap to you, brothers. Always good to see you. Pat,
good to be
brother, Big Pat, please send me that information via text so I can start working on that poem for you.
I will. Oh yeah. And, I'll do that tomorrow.
Please do. And on that, do I continue it for 2022?
Yeah.
The time is now. The week is new.
Look at you, yeah, you looking at
And we'll have more podcasts for you. And you'll have things you want to talk about. We shall too.